League featuring World of Matchups. Coming to you guys live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Dexter Reed, your host, my A1 from day one, co-founder of World of Matchups, and producer on the other side of the glass. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Spencer the Wiz. What up?
What's going on, man? I'm on winter break. I'm a teacher. It's like the best time of year.
What's your dog's name?
Oh, Maggie. I have her for winter break, so we have another co-host for this week.
That's rad, man. So Maggie's in the house co-hosting, guys. This is what we do, all right? We're going to break these games down for you. Full slate starting with today. 1:30 in the afternoon, Vegas time. The Cincinnati Bengals head to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati -3. Somehow, some way, Cincinnati is -3 in this game. When you consider the loss of Jamar Chase is down with an AC joint sprain, probably won't play again this year. No Joe Burrow, no DJ Reader, and they are on the road laying 3 to Pittsburgh. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Now, look, we understand there's dissension personified about this team right now. They got all kinds of problems, okay? They really, really do. They've overachieved all year. They're losing to teams with 2 wins in their building back-to-back weeks. Then they get their doors blown off last week in Indianapolis. 3-game losing streak. They're talking about trading Mike Tomlin. I mean, it's bad. It's getting really, really bad. Guys aren't blocking. But I still somehow, some way feel like they are going to cover this 3 in their building. I don't really know how. I really don't. But I think home dogs pay dividends. TJ Watt still plays for that team. I'm not sure if Fitzpatrick will be in the secondary. But look, this whole John Browning experiment, can it continue? I mean, really, can it? To be getting 3 at home from a team like the Bengals, something is up here. I think Tomlin is probably going to leave. They're talking about trading him. If he was smart, he would go. I'm going to take the Steelers here. I'm not going to take them with a lot of confidence. I just don't trust the Bengals on the road -3. The -3 is a problem. You know what I mean? If it was just like 1, I could see. But I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers here, and I think they cover this 3. I think they win the game, personally. I mean, I know Mason Rudolph is buns, but they were calling for this guy a couple weeks ago when Trubisky was stinking up the joint. I mean, the fans must know something that we don't, Spencer. So I'm taking the Steelers, and I'm going to pull and pray.
Yeah, I mean, I'm staying about as far away from this one as humanly possible. It's just a weird game. I mean, I'm probably putting on a teaser. It's like some way or another, just because I like to have action on these games. But yeah, the Steelers are like the de facto Saturday football team, apparently, and here they are again. Oh man, they just put up a real stinker against the Colts, and I don't know if that means the Colts are just better, than like what everyone thinks they are. I already talked about the Gardner Minshew problem that they're gonna have. Man, this guy takes them to 10 wins in the playoffs. It's just, I don't know, man. I guess Anthony Richardson's just going to walk right back in there year 2 off of a season-ending injury. I know it seems simple, but, man, I don't know, dude. You get a quarterback who's playing really well right now. But anyways, we'll talk about the Colts later. I didn't but, yeah, that was just a really interesting game. It just made me think about that. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll take the Steelers, too, but I feel like I take them every week, and they just put up, like, big stinkers, But I don't know. It's so hard to beat. Well, I guess the Steelers did beat the Bengals in that first time around. Golly.
Are they really going to have a 4-game losing streak?
I think I'd rather just tease it and take as many points as I can get on either side, whoever's the plus. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. But, yeah, I mean, this is going to be an ugly football game. I can just know that right now.
The black and blue division is ugly as hell. I mean, the OU is 38.5. I really don't like this game at all. I just can't see Mike Tomlin and the Steelers losing.
Maybe the over. Maybe you tease the over and go to like 33 points. I think both teams can score. I think Mason Rudolph can help them score a few more points than what they have been.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get their wide receiver room together. It's just a mess in Pittsburgh. I'm only picking them because I have to pick somebody. Next, the Buffalo Bills this evening, they fly across the country to take on the Chargers. The Bills are -12. I'm taking the Bills to cover this 12, and the OU is 44.5. I think it does go over as well. Look, I told you guys, man. After I sat in Kansas City and watched the Bills clip the Chiefs, I'm like, if this team gets their act together, they're going to be a tough out. And I told you last week, and no one wanted to listen. Everybody was on Dallas. I'm like, the Bills are going to roll Dallas.
That was one of our best calls for sure.
They are going to absolutely roll Dallas. And I'm telling you, when you have these in-season changes at offensive coordinator or coach, more times than not, the guy who's stepping in is realizing that this is his shot. This is a shot for long-term OC or shot at potential HC in the future. And what Joe Brady has done with James Cook has been magical. James Cook literally couldn't put up 5 points in fantasy earlier this year. He's a top 5 running back right now because they're finally using him the way that they intended to have him used when they drafted him. I think James Cook is better than Dalvin Cook. They just never gave him the shot, and you saw it last week. In space, can catch. I mean, the guy's flipping into the end zone like this is Madden. I mean, they got themselves a good problem now because they can beat teams several different ways. And if they make it to the playoffs, which I think they will now, it's going to be a tough out for someone. If Kansas City has to play Buffalo and Buffalo or Kansas City, it's going to be a problem. If Miami has to play Buffalo, it's going to be a problem. Josh Allen's a problem. Stephon Diggs, who has done nothing for the last 6 weeks, is still a problem. Their tight ends are problems. Kincaid's a problem. It's a problem. And so they're getting anything out of their defense. The Bills are a team to watch, I'm telling you. And I think they absolutely roll the Chargers here. The Chargers have nothing to play for. Can you imagine having paid Austin Eckler? This is why running backs don't get paid. Austin Eckler looks old. Easton Stick is trash. Keenan Allen is hurt. Josh Palmer is out there with Quentin Johnson, who can't catch. Quentin Johnson's been the number 1 wide receiver bust in this draft. 12's not enough. I think they win this game 31-10, and the 10 will be a garbage time touchdown. You know, when you get rid of the GM and you get rid of the head coach and everyone is hurt, you got nothing to play for in your building. It's just pride. And you just tell the two teams going separate directions. They have no answer for Josh Allen whatsoever. And the Bills are going to win this game going away. Do not be scared to lay the points. Don't be scared to ever lay points if you're expecting to win money at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like this as the first leg of our teaser. The Bills, I'd put them down to 6 points at touchdown. I mean, that would just be insanity if they didn't cover that. So, yeah, I'll also take the Bills. I'm not scared of the points either. I mean, I know it can't seem like the Chargers can lose that badly 2 weeks in a row. I mean, they got 63 dropped on their head. I don't think it'll be that extreme, probably a little bit of juice, but I don't really know how much juice they have. If Justin Herbert was playing, I'd have a different opinion on this game, but yeah, they got this Jacob Eason guy. He's so terrible. I mean, he had a couple of good throws in that game, but that's about it. The guy I don't think he ever expected to play this season. So
Easton Stick was never going to play this season.
No, I mean, obviously not, but I also agree with you there on James Cook. I mean, he had a few good flashes in his rookie season, and they just really haven't had their run game going for the past, I don't know, it feels like 6 years. They just kind of got away from it. And they've even had success with some guys like Devin Singletary, here and there. They just don't stick with it. And it kind of seems like they are now. And maybe it was just James Cook needed to come around to show them, that
offensive coordinator had to go.
Yeah. You got a new offensive coordinator, new offensive mindset. Because, I mean, if your run game's going and you combine that, with Josh Allen, because the thing is, Josh Allen, if you lean too much on him, he's going to burn you. And I think that's what they've been doing way too much throughout these last few years. But if they can, have a two-folded offense, I think that's going to be a huge benefit to them. So I don't know. That'd be crazy to me if the Bills didn't blow the Chargers out in this game. I feel like there's no other way.
Chargers are getting murdered. And I'm telling you right now, you guys, the NFL is truly week to week because the Bills were left for dead 3 weeks ago. Left for dead. This is a team that lost to the Patriots. And now, I'm telling you, you saw what they did to the Dallas Cowboys. And if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm concerned. They threw 7 passes in that game. You got destroyed on the ground in inclement weather. I mean, give me a sunny, cold night. You're getting destroyed by James Cook. I'm bigger than James Cook. but it just goes to show you what getting the right coordinator in there. They had the right game plan. They ran right at Micah Parsons. I'm telling you right now, the Bills are going to be a tough out. And if my team makes it to the playoffs, that's the last team I want to see, and I'm just being honest. Christmas Eve, first games. Seattle Seahawks go to Tennessee to take on the touchdown Titans. Tennessee is getting 3.5 in their building. Will Levis has got a high ankle sprain, so, we're going to revitalize and resuscitate old man Tannehill the same way we did old man Flacco. And I think that the Seahawks are due for a beatdown, and I think they serve it to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have nothing left. They really don't. Derrick Henry is have you seen a running back just fall to pieces the way Derrick Henry has? He's literally done. I mean, he has lost his step clearly. The offensive line is trash. The secondary is not good. I mean, Seattle's had the gauntlet, It's San Francisco, Dallas, San Francisco, Philly, which I told you they were going to win on Monday, and that's a galvanizing win versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now they take that moxie and they head to Tennessee. I think they beat up the Titans here. The Titans garbage. If Will Levis was playing, I'd have a better feeling. But Tannehill was good for maybe a month in his whole career, and now he's trying to come off the bench and do anything. They're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, Vrabel's job is safe. What are they playing for? I like the Seahawks here, and I like them to cover this game, at least win this game by 5-6 points. I have spoken.
What's the line of this game?
Seahawks minus 3.5.
I'll co-opt this as the second leg of our teaser. I like a 6.5 point teaser to give them a field goal, just in case. Sometimes things weird like that happen. But I agree with you on your thought process. I mean, Seattle really hasn't had a break in a long time, and Tennessee's playing hard, but I don't have any confidence in Ryan Tannehill. I mean, if Tennessee won, I could never imagine in a million years it'd be by more than a field goal. I mean, if they just went in, at home and just blew out the Seahawks, that would just change my opinion on the Seahawks completely. They just had a rough go at it, and I think it's been really frustrating for them. And there's some spots like that. It reminds me of the, that Bills-Raiders game early in the season where the Raiders just saw the Bills at the worst possible time, and I think that's what's happening to Tennessee here. I think the Seahawks have a great game. I think they get an early lead, and Ryan Tannehill throws a bad interception. I could just see that playing out in my mind. So I love the Seahawks in this game. This might be my best bet.
Yeah, this is, to me, the Tyler Lockett game. We've been just waiting for Tyler Lockett. He's had a couple couple catch games here and there, but it's been mostly like DK Metcalf, and JSN is ascending. KW3 Charbonnet, those guys are ascending, but you really haven't had the Tyler Lockett game in a while, maybe since the Cleveland game in their building. I think this is it, man. Titans corners are mid at best. I think the Seahawks run away with this game, and keep their playoff chances, cooking the way they need to be. They're a playoff team. I don't know how far they'll go, but, we're going to get Geno Smith back here as well. This should be a resounding Seahawk win going away. Next, a game that I just can't stand, but we're going to break it down because that's what we do. Indianapolis Colts. They head to Atlanta and take on the Falcons. Falcons are home. They're minus 2.5. Arthur Smith has to be fired immediately. I mean, literally the second the season ends, you have to get rid of Arthur Smith. That's number one. Okay, I mean, the Falcons this year could have been the Lions of last year. But they refused to get rid of Desmond Ridder permanently. They refused to run Bijan Robinson. And somehow they're still in the mix, which is mind-blowing to me. In come the Colts off of a nice win at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gardner Minshew, like you were mentioning, is a very good quarterback. Gardner Minshew is going to be a starting quarterback next year. He's too good to be a backup. If they win 10 games, he's going to be a starting quarterback next year. That's what he wants. And it's not going to be with the Colts. So there's going to be some horrible team like Carolina. The Bryce Young experiment goes wrong, where I could see him some horrible team somewhere that will take a chance on him. Hell, it wouldn't be surprised me if it falls apart in Atlanta and they don't end up getting a starting. I mean, he's going somewhere. He's too good to be a high-end backup like this. Maybe they get rid of Sam Howell. Who knows? There's franchise-starved, needy quarterbacks. I don't know if they cover this 2.5, though. I mean, we talk about this all the time. The Falcons are good in their building. They're good in their building, and they switched to Taylor Heineke, this generation's version of, the beard. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is the journeyman guy who's got moxie, who will throw the ball down the field, which is what you're going to have to do to beat the Colts. Heineke's not scared. He did start for a full season. I think he's better than Ritter by a lot. I mean, Desmond Ritter is absolute hot dog water. He is not an NFL starting quarterback. He's not even a practice squad quarterback. I mean, anytime he's done anything, it's because they've been getting blown out in the fourth quarter, and it's all garbage time, stats. So they switched to this guy. I think this is a big Bijan game. The Colts corners can be had. I don't think the Steelers took advantage of that last week like they could have, and I think they're going to throw the ball. I think this is a Kyle Pitts game, and I think this is a Drake London game, and I definitely think you're going to see Bijan Robinson get the full complement of touches because Arthur Smith knows that his job is on the line here. I'm going to take the Falcons to cover the 2.5 at home. A field goal wins it. Koo can hit from anywhere. Any blade of grass is safe. No, it's not safe from that guy's leg. And I'm going to pull and pray. Falcons defense shows up here. Jonathan Taylor will be back, but he's banged up. They're all banged up. Michael Pittman got resurrected like Lazarus after that brutal hit last week. I am shocked that this guy is playing this week, but he'll be out there. This is going to be a competitive game, but the Colts on the road versus the Falcons at home. I'm taking the Falcons at home to lay it and win it. 2.5, a field goal will win you that game. Go Falcons.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call. I don't really know how this is going to go, but I'm going to stick with the Colts here. I mean, they have the bet in the last 6 weeks. Only one team in the NFL has a better record than them. They're 5-1, and the 49ers are undefeated. So they're just rolling on all cylinders right now, and I feel like the Falcons are just trending in the wrong direction. And I could see it getting a lot worse for them before it gets better. Like, I kind of feel like last week was their last chance to really, prove something, and it just didn't happen. And the flip-flopping of quarterbacks, I just don't think it's healthy for a team. Even like thinking about a team like the Raiders, I just feel like the season really started, when they like stuck with somebody and they made an announcement about it. A little too late, obviously. And I kind of feel like it's the same thing for the Falcons. I mean, consistency is key in the NFL. I really believe that. You get timing with receivers, and if you don't know who's playing, it's not good overall. And I think Gardner Minshew's playing some really good football right now. And the Falcons are good at home, but I think that as your season falls apart more, those kinds of things, could matter less and less. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Falcons won this game, by like a field goal or something, but I don't know. I just feel like the Colts are, playing on a different level right now, and I think that can transcend trends like a good home team from the Falcons.
Yeah, it could. It's really a coin flip. I'm actually surprised the Falcons are favored by as much as they are, but I think the smart money and the pundits and the odds makers are banking on Bijan Robinson finally getting the ball. I mean, it's what they've been talking about all week long in Atlanta. I mean, the only reason that Arthur Blank hasn't fired, Arthur Smith yet is because they don't want to have to deal with it in season. I mean, I never thought that this guy would make it and Staley would get fired before him. I mean, he's done a horrible job this year. I mean, he's running plays for third-string tight ends. I mean, give Bijan Robinson the ball, block, and everyone else get out of the way. It's not hard. Next, Cleveland Browns. They're -3. They're heading to Houston to take on the Texans. Boy, the Browns have looked good, man. Joe Flacco has done a really good job. He really has. He's done a great job. He's done a better job than Deshaun Watson has done. You got to give the guy his props, a savvy veteran. It's just worked out. Practice squad to the active squad. This guy has gotten the most out of guys like David Njoku, who we've been waiting on David Njoku for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, when is this guy going to pop? I mean, he is big, he is strong, he can get open. I mean, David Njoku is seeing 10, 12, 14 targets and going bananas. And I think that's going to be a difference maker here. No C.J. Stroud. I mean, Damian Pierce has been running back bust of the year. Devin Singletary is going to have a hard time running against this team. I really think so. And Cleveland can run. Cleveland can throw. Amari Cooper. Jerome Ford. Kareem Hunt, A1 from day one defense. I mean, it's only 3. I think the Texans won a game they shouldn't have won last week. And I think they come home and they get murdered. I mean, their starting quarterback is who? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not feeling what the Texans are putting down here. Yes, they'll be fired up. Yes, they'll be in their building. Yes, D'Amico Ryans is probably going to be coach of the year, But the loss of C.J. Stroud, man, is concerning here. Back-to-back weeks. I mean, when you see Pittman get hit the way he did, and he's back, but, C.J. Stroud's not back yet, it's kind of making me think something else is going on there. I mean, if he's still seeing stars, it's 2 weeks now. And so just because he's not there, I'm going to take the Browns and lay the 3 points. I think they cover this. I do. I mean, Dalton Schultz is there, yes. Houston will be okay, but the quarterback play is what worries me. The Davis Mills of the world and that other guy they got starting. I'm not feeling what they're putting down here, even in their building. The Browns can beat anyone, anywhere. They've proven it all year here, and I think 3 is just right, and I think they find a way to cover it.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Browns too. I mean, they're playing really good football right now. Also, David Njoku must have a second job as like one of the robbers from the Home Alone movies, because he burned his face earlier, and now I saw a report that he stubbed his toe so hard he had to get surgery on it before the last game. I don't know what this guy's got going on in his house, but they got to wrap him in bubble wrap after these games and wait till next Sunday. Or maybe it makes him play better. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I just think that it's just a full team unit right now for the Browns. I really can't even just say it's one person. Joe Flacco has been playing great, but Kareem Hunt's been playing awesome, man. Amari Cooper's going to have another 1,000-yard season. Their defense, obviously, is just playing great football all year long, other than like maybe 2 games. I mean, that's really consistent for a defense. It's so hard to play like lights out, no scoring type of defense for an entire year. But yeah, and that's just really what it is, man. And everyone is playing for each other. It just doesn't sound like a Browns team from years past. They're not playing with a chip on their shoulder. I hate all these like tropes that these teams like try to run on. I just don't feel like that's the Browns. The Browns are just going in there, they're playing football, and they're leaving. And I think that's the best image the Browns have had for, ever, like my entire life. It's always something with the Browns, it feels like, but I haven't heard anything like that this year, and they're 9-5 because of it. And they can go to 10 wins here. And, I would say it's unfortunate for the Texans, but they've overachieved this year. You know what I mean? They're playing so much better than anybody else ever thought they would be. And I guess like once you're up towards like having a really good record, it feels disappointing, but I don't think anybody in Texas should feel disappointed with this team. And I think that they've done a really good job this year, and you're a young team, and this is just what young teams do. They just kind of fall off towards the end, and that's okay. They're building towards the future. They had a great first year. I mean, not to say that the Texans, I guess, couldn't win this game, but it would be really shocking to me. I really like the Browns in this one.
I like the Browns too. The Browns have done a fantastic job. Kevin Stefanski's in the running for, HC of the year. No questions asked about that. But if Case Keenum is the answer, you got to ask yourself, what's the question? The Texans have to be happy with what they've gotten out of this year. I mean, this is a winning season, and you have a future stud. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, he's out. You're going to lose this game at home. It's just kind of how it goes. But there's nothing to, like, be ashamed of. I mean, if you're the Houston Texans, I mean, you could be the Carolina Panthers. So hold your head. And if they find a way to win this game, I'll be speaking differently about them next week, because that'll be 2 weeks in a row that they should have lost that they're winning. And the Cleveland Browns are a very, very good team. I'll be shocked to see them lose this game. Next, trap game. This is the manhole, waiting for you guys to fall in it. Green Bay Packers head to Carolina, -4. I told you guys last week that the Panthers were going to win, and that's exactly what they did. I'm telling you right now, guys, teams don't win one game anymore. They win 2-3 games. The NFL is too competitive. It's a fight every week, and I think this is an absolute trap game for the Green Bay Packers. So, number one, the Panthers have the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. You wouldn't know it because they have 2 wins. and they can't score, but their defense is good. This is undeniable. Just go look at the numbers. They handle quarterbacks in their building. In comes Jordan Love, who is missing Christian Watson. I told you guys last week, Joe Biden is healthier than Christian Watson. He's the most overrated wide receiver in the National Football League. The best ability is availability, and the guy is always hurt. His hamstrings are being held together with freaking dollar store freaking masking tape. I mean, he's always out. Romeo Doubs is good, but they don't use him. Jaden Reed's questionable. A.J. Dillon's got a thumb issue. You're going to get, Aaron Jones back, but I think this is a trap. The Tyler Crafts, that guy's a rookie. I mean, you have a team that has gotten their second win now in their building, and they're going to be fired up, man. They're going to be fired up, and if you can't run the ball, how are you going to score? I think that you're going to see a big dose of Chuba Hubbard here. The Packer defense hemorrhages yards on the ground. They have given up so many ground touchdowns, it's not even funny. It would not surprise me to see them not only not cover, but to lose the game outright. Now, Jair Alexander is supposed to play, but if he doesn't play, Panthers money line, and I'll take it, feeling confident about it, because the Packers are a tale of two teams. They're the team that upsets teams at home and shows good quarterbacks that they're nothing in their building, and then the team that goes on the road and loses to the Giants. I think you're going to get the latter here versus the former, and I actually will feel good about it, taking the Panthers back-to-back weeks, and I'm not batting an eye doing it.
What's the spread in this game?
Panthers are home, getting 4 points from the Packers.
Oh, man. What does that tell you about the Packers? I mean, you play a 2-12 team, and you're only getting 4 points.
4.
Golly. Yeah, man, the Packers are just so hard to read. And I don't know, the Panthers are playing okay right now. Oh gosh, this is ugly. I mean, I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole, like betting wise. What's the over under in this game?
37.5.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty short line. I guess I'll take the Panthers. I mean, this could be like golly, it feels like it'd be like a 17-13 kind of game. I can just see that happening. Team gets whoever, I don't even really know who, gets a late touchdown at the end. I'll take the Panthers, I guess, plus the points. I mean, they haven't really played badly at any particular part of the season. They just cannot score points, and it's just so hard to bet on them because they cannot get in the end zone to save their life. But I mean, I guess they picked things up a little bit towards the end here. So
that was a good win last week. That's a good win last week. I know it was only 9 points, but that's a good win.
And it's not like the Falcons
how good their defense is.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll take the Panthers. I don't take it with a bunch of confidence, but yeah, I mean, the Packers just don't move the needle for me at all.
Not at all. Away from Lambeau, they've had that one solid victory, and it was versus Detroit on Thanksgiving, and sometimes those games just happen. I think that was more about what Detroit didn't do versus what the Packers did do. Again, styles make fights, guys. This is the number 1 ranked pass defense in the league. Give me those 4 points. Next, another trash-ass game. The Washington Commanders, they take on the New York Jets. Jets are home -3. I promised myself I wouldn't do it, but I'm going to have to because I didn't think there's a worse team than the Jets, than the Commanders, but the Commanders are bad, man. They got rid of Sweat. They got rid of Young. Their secondary is absolute hot dog water. I can't believe I'm betting on Trevor Siemian to give me 3 points here, but I'm going to have to do it because the Jets just have more talent. Their lines are better. This is a game at home that they win. Man, the Commanders stink. They stink. I mean, Eric Bieniemy can't save this team. They're bad. And you're going to still have to be out there facing Sauce Island. I mean, Terry McLaurin had a nice game last week, but he ain't going to do that versus Sauce. Jahan Dotson is nothing. I mean, they just Curtis Samuel's okay. Brian Robinson's out, so now all you got to worry about is Antonio Gibson. He ain't been nothing for a couple of years. I'll take the Jets. I won't take them with a lot of confidence. The Jets are going to have to do a lot on defense to win this game, but I think they should be able to. The turnover battle wins this game. I mean, turnover battle usually wins every game, but I think more so, especially in this game, in the cold, in December, at MetLife. They're just going to ask Sam Howell to do too much, and I think it's going to turn into some really bad decision-making, and the Jets are going to win this game going away. I mean, in a way, having Trevor Siemian out there is probably better than having Zach Wilson out there, but this is a team that did score 30 points the last time they were in their building versus a better team than the Commanders. I don't see how anyone that can take the Commanders anywhere right now. That's a team that has mailed it in. They're bad, and I won't touch them again. I learned my lesson. Jets -3 is the play.
What's the over-under in this one?
Over-under is 37.5.
Wow, I like the over in this one. I mean, I think the Commanders can put up points. I mean, they're going to throw like interceptions and give up points. They just play in these big scoring games. They have done that over and over and over again. And I think the Jets have proved that they can put up points against bad defenses. They haven't been like 10 points per game or anything like that as of recent.
They're not the Panthers.
No, it's not that bad for sure. I think that's a good way to compare it. So I'm going to take the Jets here too. I think Sam Howell's good for a couple interceptions. He's not the answer there. You know what I mean? He's a guy who will kind of float around, second string, try to maybe go to a team where a quarterback gets injured a lot. Give himself a chance to.
He's a young Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Because, he could come into a game and win you one, as a backup quarterback.
He's won several this year.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just what's going to happen. And watching his new ownership, they're not going to stick with Sam Howell. There's no way. I mean, I think the new ownership wanted to stick with Sam Howell so they can get a high draft pick, tell him thank you on the way out, and then just, get their next franchise guy, get That's Drake May or someone like that. So, yeah, I mean, especially if New York's at home, I just think that Sam Howell's going to have a really bad game in this one. So I like the Jets.
I like the Jets, too, going away. Next, this is going to be probably one of the most entertaining games on the slate tomorrow. Two dome teams that just love to put up points. The Detroit Lions, they head to Minnesota and Skull. And they are -3 points here. OU, 47.5. I'm telling you, going in the door, I'm going to tease that under right down. This team can both score 20 points with no problems asked. I like Detroit here. I bet against them last week. They showed up in a big way, and I think they've got their swagger back because they're starting to realize the recipe that got them to their first 6 or 7 wins they got away from. And as soon as they went back to it, as soon as they went back to Jahmyr Gibbs, as soon as they went back to David Montgomery, everything opened up for Jared Goff. Goff had a career day through 5 tutties. And I think that when you are on the road indoors versus a Vikings secondary that's not great, you're going to see more of the same here. Now, Nick Mullins played well last week for Cincinnati. He played well enough to win. I mean, can I get excited about that? I don't know. The key here for me is, does Ty Chandler handle the bulk of the work? If he does, which I think he will, this game will be closer than expected. But I think in the end, the Lions will have enough to pull away. I mean, the ground game is just so good. And the sun god is going to get his, man. St. Brown and Goff is like peanut butter and jelly. I think they recognize that they actually got a chance here after a couple hiccups to solidify themselves in the playoffs and start marching towards the upper echelon NFC teams, the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles. So I like the Lions here. I'm going to take them with confidence, too. I do like the Vikings a lot, too. Vikings are going to get theirs. There's no question about it. But the better defense here is Detroit, and it shows because they're favored by 3. So take the Detroit Lions and take them with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, every team's due for a couple stinkers every year. But, I mean, overall, the Lions have played very consistent, I mean, they seem to have their worst game against division opponents, which is, not good. But I don't know. I just feel like they're ready to end the season. I feel like they're back to playing kind of how they did earlier. They played at a really high level to start the season out and kind of fell off a little bit there towards the middle, but no one needs to play their best football in the middle of the season. It's how you end it. And that was a big statement win against Denver. I mean, I was dead set on that game at least being close, and it wasn't. I mean,
I loved Denver last week.
I did too. I mean, that was one of my best
close,
bets.
dude.
No, I mean, it was nuts.
I
thought at the end
bet.
there could be a backdoor cover. But it didn't happen. So I'm going to take the Lions. I just don't think the Vikings are particularly good anyways. But
yeah, they're really not. I mean, they're really, really not. And so it doesn't even make sense to continue to pontificate about this. Lions are going to handle their business, and that's going to be that. Jay Jettas, Hawkinson, Chandler, those guys are going to get theirs, but Detroit will be too much in the end. Next, Jacksonville Jaguars head to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is at home minus 1.5. Now, you know what I'm about to say, right? I just can't bet Tampa at home because every time I do, as valuable of soldiers as they have been for me this year on the road, I just can't take them at home. But somehow, some way, in comes a limping Jacksonville team, and I feel like I'm kind of forced into it. I feel like my hand is forced. And so it's going to be the Buccaneers minus 1.5 for a lot of reasons. Number one, Trevor Lawrence is not healthy. Who knows if he even starts? No Christian Kirk. He's had surgery. He's on IR. I mean, they're really limping here. I mean, they're in bad shape. It's just Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne, and Evan Ingram. And if they have to start C.J. Beathard, they're going to have no one that can get them the ball. The emergence of Chris Godwin last week was really, really eye-opening for me. And you still got Mike Evans. And, Rashad White has been playing as well as any running back in the league for the past 6-7 weeks now. And they're feeling good about themselves. The walking wounded are flying in, and they're only minus 1.5. I'm going to have to go against my better judgment and take them here. I know I really don't want to because they've burned me every time I have taken them at home. But it's only 1.5. Field goal wins it. And the Buccaneers, man, I'm telling you, Baker Mayfield is better than people think. I think Baker Mayfield may have found a home. I think he may have found a home, dude. And so I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I'm going to take it with confidence. And not only that, man, to make it even better for you and all the people listening, they're going to be my best bet.
Wow. Best bet, Tampa Bay at home. I hope that doesn't come back to bite you. But you know what? I like the Buccaneers here too. In the beginning of the season, they were kind of winning. I wouldn't say despite Baker Mayfield, but he was never really the focal point of those wins. And over the last couple of weeks, man, he's slinging the rock. He's had some really good games. He's throwing the ball downfield. He's what's his name came back too recently, which was a big addition for them. Rashad White is turning into like Alvin Kamara, out of nowhere. It's crazy. This guy
is really good, man. Him and James Cook have blown up at the right times for their teams, man.
And I think they're really making a push to win this division.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot
stink.
I was just saying, I cannot believe how bad Derek Carr is, man. I mean, you're competing against Baker Mayfield.
How can you not win Carolina? How can you not win that division?
Outplayed by Baker Mayfield. Man, I was actually kind of hoping the Raiders would pick up Baker Mayfield and just roll with him for a year and then draft a quarterback. But I think that might have been the best option for him, to be honest with you. It would have been cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo. But yeah, I mean, it's cool, man. It's just who he is. When everyone puts him down, that's when he plays his best football. It seems to be the problem is when you put expectations on Baker is when things go bad. But the Buccaneers aren't good enough to where people are putting expectations on the Buccaneers just quite yet. You know what I mean? He's still operating under the radar, which again I think is his best situation. But yeah, I know they suck at home, but I have a feeling Trevor Lawrence is not going to play in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's I don't even know, man. Don't risk your franchise quarterback.
They've been putting him out there unnecessarily.
I think so too. Give him a week off so that he can actually, every time you play a game, I feel like you're resetting it, like his health. Yeah.
Every time you play a game, it's like being in a car accident.
Yeah. I mean, I know it sucks not to have your franchise quarterback, and maybe that's your fault for not investing well enough in a backup. I think that's just a shortcoming of the franchise where they don't feel comfortable. They feel like they have to put Trevor Lawrence out there to give him a chance, and that's not a good place to be. They can't
win with C.J. Beathard. They just can't. I mean, the scheme's not that good. They don't have the chain mover in Christian Kirk. I mean, Calvin Ridley's been buns. I mean, it's just what it is. Can we have a candid conversation about Trevor Lawrence as well, too? I mean, like,
I've been saying this for a while. You know, when coming out of college, I actually wasn't his biggest fan. I called him like Jay Cutler with legs.
I mean, let's be honest, okay? Like, guys like Josh Allen and guys like Lamar Jackson catch more heat and more strays than Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence, honestly, man, I mean, I'm willing to give him the first-year pass because of the coaching debacle there with Urban Meyer, but he has been absolutely horrific. He's been buns, and he gets more rope than anyone. Why? Why do we keep giving Trevor Lawrence all this leeway?
I think it's because no one wants to be wrong about his draft analysis. Like, everyone said he was a
he hasn't been good, man. I took him last week versus the freaking Ravens on Sunday Night Football. They were never even in the game. And you're home. Now, I know you don't have Christian Kirk, but good teams find a way to get over those things, man. And it's not even just a one-game thing. I mean, I drafted him in fantasy. I watched him last year. I mean, this guy can't even get to 20 touchdowns. You were supposed to be the golden boy of the National Football League.
He's supposed to be like the next Peyton Manning, man.
Guys, stop giving Trevor Lawrence a pass. Okay? All I want for Christmas, you guys, is for you to stop giving Trevor Lawrence a pass. Because it's not deserving of the praise that he gets. He is very mid. He's average at best. I could name 10 quarterbacks right now I would take over Trevor Lawrence for my future. Maybe even more than that. So do us all a favor and stop with the Trevor Lawrence is God thing because he's not. Next. Arizona Cardinals. They fly to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. Bears are home -4. Boy, the Cardinals let me down last week. Bears have been playing inspired football. Bears D has been playing a lot better. Bears got a nice future. Bears fans want them to lose, but the smart money wants you to take the Bears here -4. I think that they're running into a bad trap here outdoors in the cold. The Bears are better than people think. They're starting to come on strong. They just need to get rid of Eberflus. Get rid of Eberflus and get yourself a head coach in there. Figure out what you're going to do with your franchise quarterback here. Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback. You guys can call me crazy all you want. But if you're going to move off him, make sure you get enough for him, number one. Don't send him in division, number two. And pull and pray that you get the right guy. I personally don't think Caleb Williams is that good. Everyone thinks this guy's the next Mahomes. I'm not one of those people. If I'm the Bears, I'm keeping Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been failed. He's never been surrounded by anyone who can help him at all. If you could get Eric Bieniemy as your coach there in Chicago, I think now you're cooking with something. Save those picks and get defensive help. Your defense is coming on strong. I think Arizona is running into the wrong team here. I think the Bears are trying to win when people think they should be trying to lose. And they're going to show you something here outdoors in the cold. I don't trust the Arizona Cardinals away from their building unless they're playing a team like Pittsburgh that can't score. But the Bears have shown you that they've been able to put up points. And they have a decent franchise quarterback that could lead that team. And their secondary has been lights out recently. Trey McBride will do something. I think they bottle up James Conner. I think 4 is about right. I'm going to take the Bears. I'm not going to take them with a lot of confidence. I'm just going to take them -4 because they've been playing better and they're in their building.
Yeah, I don't like smaller quarterbacks in cold weather games. I don't know why. I don't have a lot of confidence like Kyler Murray. He plays in the desert. You know, he's used to it being like pretty hot outside.
Kyler Murray's a bubble wrap quarterback.
Yeah, I do like the Cardinals in certain spots, but for some reason I just don't have a good feeling about this. The Bears have played decent football since Justin Fields has come back. You know, they have not looked like a horrible football team. Kind of feels like they just started their season too late in a sense, and they're at home. You know, they are playing to win right now. I mean, that's the sense I get from them. They're not looking for draft picks because you know they have the Panthers. So I mean, they're the team that really matters the most to them, because they want the first overall pick.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that I do think Caleb Williams is going to be the first overall pick, not because I think he deserves to. I personally think that Drake May is the best quarterback in this year's draft.
Agreed.
But the first pick is not, the GM does not take the first pick. It is the owners. And the owners see that Caleb Williams is being, you know, compared to Patrick Mahomes. That's it. I even think the second pick goes to the GM. Anytime you get the first overall pick, ownership is the one who picks it. And I think that marketing-wise, the owner are going to say, I don't care what your scouts say, you're taking, you know, Caleb Williams.
It's a good point.
So what happened to the 49ers? They did not want to take.
That's what happened to the Panthers this year.
Yeah.
Dude, you could have C.J. Stroud. Dude, I told you since I met you, I'm like, if you take Bryce Young over first overall, you're a sucker.
Yeah.
And you're
I
seeing
really
it.
think that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. That's such a great point. And I think that Chicago, if they were smart, man.
Chicago's ownership is going to force them to take Caleb Williams first overall and trade away Justin
Fields.
I wouldn't trade Justin Fields first.
Stud. He is a stud. I will bang the drum on this. I don't know why I love Justin Fields so much.
I say you trade back. You get 3 first-round picks next year. Or you can even spread them out. You take one this year. I mean, you're getting the first overall pick. You're getting a huge package for that. You know what I mean?
Defense. Roshan Johnson is a good player. You already have DJ Moore. Go get yourself another wide receiver. Do not blow this up.
Get Marvin Harrison.
Go get Marvin Harrison Jr. Do not blow this up. Give Fields the help he deserves. Let him prove it to you when he's surrounded by help.
Bears, man, I would consider even just taking Marvin Harrison first overall. You have another first-round pick. I would do it because he's not going to. If you trade back, he's not going to be there anymore, right? So, are you reaching a little bit? I don't even know. I really think that Marvin Harrison Jr. could be the best player to come out of that draft next year.
He's a stud.
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about during our draft show, but I've been thinking of this next year's draft is going to be insane.
It's going to be really good.
It's going to be one of the craziest NFL drafts in a very long time. There's going to be a lot of trades in the top 10.
Free agency in the draft is going to be absolutely in fuego this year in the National Football League. This next coming year might be the best year you see, as long as the refs don't ruin it in probably 2 decades. But yeah, we're both in agreement, man. Bears are going to roll here. They should. I'd be surprised if the Cardinals keep this game close. Next, game of the week. This should have been Sunday Night Football. Cowboys head to Miami. They take on the Dolphins. Dolphins -2. Tyreek's going to play more than likely. He's had some rest on that ankle. I'm telling you, going in the door, don't get gassed. The Miami Dolphins are overrated. You know what the Miami Dolphins are? Miami Dolphins, they are a fake Louis Vuitton bag. That's what they are. They're a fake Louis Vuitton bag. From a distance, you're like, ooh, that's nice. Nice bag. They're fake, dude. They don't beat good teams. Ever. What's the signature win they have this year away from Miami? What's the signature win they have this year in their building? They don't beat good teams. Conversely, the Dallas Cowboys just got their doors blown all the way off. All the way off, just like I told you they would. And now they come in and they're licking their wounds and people stop talking about Dak all of a sudden. I'm telling you, Dallas is going to come to play. They're going to come to play. And with a less than 100% Tyreek and Tua turn the ball over, whatever his name is, I love Dallas here. I think they're going to run all over Miami. I really do. And I think C.D. Lamb's going to have an enormous game versus Jalen Ramsey here. They know they cannot afford to lose 2 games in a row in this competitive NFC. The seeding is at stake. The Super Bowl is at stake. Miami's going nowhere, bro. Let's stop, okay? They're a couple years away. I like their coach. He's got moxie. Yes, they have a nice little team, but the defense not clearly good enough. And we need to stop acting like they're better than they are. All I want for Christmas is you guys to be more realistic about the Miami Dolphins as well. Please. I mean, it's comical that you think that this team really has a shot. Anytime they've played anyone good, what has happened? They went to Buffalo. Buffalo destroyed them. Kansas City beat them in the middle of nowhere in Germany. Stop. In order for them to go crazy, Tyreek has to be 100%, and their defense has to play great. But when they play good teams, they lose. Dude, you're only making me – you're giving me 2 points? You're giving me 2 points. Stop it. Stop it, dude. You could tease this down, and this is house money as well, man. I'll take Cowboys +8 all day, every day, twice on Sunday, and I'm going to Sizzler with that money afterward because this is an absolute trap game. For all you people that think the Dolphins have any shot of beating the Cowboys here, you need to have your heads examined.
I like this as the third leg of our tease. I like the Cowboys here too.
Cowboys are going to roll this team.
I think that's just, Cowboys are pissed last week. I mean, they played the worst game of the season.
Yep.
And I just don't think they're going to do that twice. I think they're going to go in there and want to just beat the hell out of Miami. I just think Tua is going to have a really bad game. I mean, the Cowboys defense is one of those that will just relentlessly, if you start off on the wrong foot against this Cowboys defense,
it's over.
It's like an avalanche, man. And I just don't think Tua has it in him. I could really see this being a really rough game for the for the Dolphins here. They just haven't looked great in the last act of the season. Also, their entire offensive line is hurt. I mean, they're literally their entire starting offensive line was on the injury report. I don't know how many of them would play and not, but you got a banged up, offensive line. Micah Parsons going to be eating like really, really good this week. I love the Cowboys, man. I think
this is what I know. Coming off an embarrassing loss to Dallas Cowboys are house money wherever they play. I'm telling you guys, empty a mattress on this one. I love the Cowboys this week. Next, the worst Sunday night football game of the season.
How do they not like this?
Oh, dude, this is ridiculous. You'll bump the Kansas City Chiefs off primetime, but you'll let the Patriots and the Broncos play. Disgusting. This is where you go Christmas caroling or something because you're not missing nothing watching this game. All right, Patriots they're on the road. Denver's home -7.5. Denver lost a tough game last week, man. We both really liked them a lot. I just cannot take the Patriots with any kind of confidence anywhere, even plus the 7.5. I mean, that's a lot of points that Denver has to lay. And their run D is bad, so I could definitely see Zeke having a good game. But Bailey Zappi is garbage, bro. He's hot dog water. I mean, he's a backup quarterback who's had one good game in his life. In Mile High Stadium, that's a tough place to play. It's going to be cold. All their fans will be there. They will be fired up. I'm going to take the Broncos and pull and pray. Defensive touchdown. They'll need some help. I mean, after Sean Payton got in Russ's ass on the sideline and he knows the whole world saw that, I think they're going to come out fired up, and I think they're going to end this team, man. This is literally going to be like each week another team puts another nail in the coffin of the Patriots dynasty, and I think it's just the Broncos' turn who, they've had their share of BS happen to them at the hand of the Patriots, so there's no love lost there. I think they end Belichick's reign. Belichick is gone. Robert Kraft is in trouble. They don't know what they're going to do in New England, and I'm here for it. Everyone's here for it. My wife's here for it. We all hate the Patriots. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're all here for it. So Denver Broncos minus the 7.5 is the play.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots stink. I won't bet on them. I don't even really care what the line is. I mean, they're just not a good football team. And on top of that, Denver's at home, and they desperately need this win. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but, the team knows that they're fighting for their playoff lives. If they lose, they're out, right?
They're done.
For sure. Yeah, they're done. So, you got to take the Broncos here. There's not much to say. The Patriots are just a god-awful team.
They're hot dog water. There's not much else to say here. They're bad. Next, Christmas Day. Ho, ho, ho. You guys open your gifts, get your hot chocolate, your marshmallows, and all that good stuff. And then you turn on the TV and you watch the Kansas City Chiefs annihilate the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs at home, Arrowhead Stadium, minus 10.5. It's going to be cold. None of that 63-point nonsense will be taking place here. I'm telling you right now. The Chiefs are ready. Josh Jacobs is still 100,000% not healthy. Okay, so even if he plays, I don't think you can count on him. But Zamir White and him are going to be playing from way behind. I think the Chiefs are going to start fast. I think they're going to end this game really early. Chiefs played much better last week versus the Patriots, but they still got so many problems that they need to clean up. But I just can't see a world here after beating this team already once in Vegas, in nice, cushy Allegiant Stadium where the temperature is perfect, to now take it outdoors where they're used to playing in these elements and having the Raiders cover this 10.5. I just can't see it. A lot of people can see it. I know the Chiefs have not been the Chiefs all season long, but I kind of feel like they're slowly getting better and staying in it. I mean, when you consider that Patrick Mahomes still leads the NFL in yards. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Babe, can you believe that Patrick Mahomes still leads the National Football League in yards? He is total yards, and he leads the league. You know how many passes the Chiefs have dropped this year? You know how many touchdowns the Chiefs have dropped this year? Patrick Mahomes could be MVP this year on a really bad Chiefs team that shoots themselves in the foot every single day. When they lose, they beat themselves. Penalties, drop passes. If the Chiefs ever just stop doing those two things, they're in a Super Bowl conversation. Why? Because you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. There's no love lost between these two teams. They're not losing. on Christmas Day in front of the world. And I think they cover. The Chiefs have covered every single win they've had this year. Every win they've had, they've covered. After not covering at all last year versus anybody, every single win this year they've covered. They're going to cover this 10.5. If they can cover in Allegiant Stadium in nice, posh, cushy weather, they can cover at home in front of their fans, and the whole world's going to watch them, and everyone's going to be gassed off that Raider victory last week. I'm telling you right now, Chiefs roll 31-13 final.
I don't know. I think 10.5 is too much for some reason. I mean, the Raiders obviously aren't going to go out there and put up 63 again. I mean, that's never going to happen. But I don't know, man. I just think the Raiders had them dead to rights that last game. I mean, they had them, and they just fell apart badly at the end of the first half, and it just killed them for the rest of the game. But I don't know. I mean, this team just does look better every single week, and I think ever since they released Marcus Peters, the defense just got the message. I'm pretty dead set that I want this guy to come back as my head coach. The only other situation that Antonio Pierce is not the head coach is if Jim Harbaugh shows up to their front door and says, I'm going to be your head coach. And I say, obviously, you give him a blank check. Any other coach, I'm saying no to. And I really like Champ Kelly, man. He just sets the tone. He's looking to retool, and improve this roster every week. Doesn't matter how small the move is. You get Jack Jones. You release Nesta. You release Marcus Peters. He's saying if you don't come here and you don't play hard, me and Antonio Pierce are going to get your ass off the team. And I don't know, man. Just haven't had that for a long time in Raider Nation. They always pick up these veterans.
Accountability.
Yeah, they always pick up these veterans, and they just, come here and collect a check, and they want to have a Raiders uniform. And this, little tiny regime that is picked up here, in the middle of the season after all the firings, it just feels like a Raiders organization again, which I really like. I don't think the Raiders are going to win this game. I just, it's too hard of a spot for them, but I do think 10.5 is a little bit too much. I could see the Raiders sticking in this game a little bit, especially if they get an early lead. I think that this, it would be a little bit different than last time where they wouldn't just lay down for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they got 14-point lead on us last time and got their doors blown off after that. This is going to be a huge game for the Chiefs defense, who's going to take this game personally. And this is what I know, man. Anytime people talk shit to Patrick Mahomes, they pay. They pay. Jack Jones talking about.
I don't know, man. I think his quote got taken way out of context.
Maybe, but dude, this is what I also know. There's no reason to ever give the Kansas City Chiefs bulletin board material. Go ask the Eagles. Go ask the Bengals. Go ask anybody that talks to Patrick Mahomes. You pay, bro. You pay. It happens every time. They love, dude. I'm telling you, man. If there's a team that loves when you talk nonsense to them, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, because they just stay quiet and then they show up. Don't be surprised when you're sitting there in your flannel Christmas pajamas and it's 1:30, 2 o'clock, and this game is already 21-0. You heard it here first, folks. Next. The New York Football Giants, they fly to the Eagles to take on the struggling Philadelphia Eagles, who I told you again, I'm going to bang this drum until you guys listen to me. The Eagles are not as good as you think they are. They're not. And what I said last week, it should have been in the Bible, bro. It's gospel. What lost them the game is the secondary. Slay and Bradbury are not good. Go look at Week 15 World of Matchups. Go look at Week 14 World of Matchups. Go look at Week 13 World of Matchups. I've been saying the same thing all year. I don't care that Jalen Carter's on this team. This team is not as good as the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. It's not. Now there's questions about Jalen Hurts' leadership and his knee. Dude, you've been overconfident all year. Now you come home and you're minus 13.5 to a really bad Giants team. I'm taking the Giants in a 13.5. I'm going to bet against you until you show me I shouldn't. And it's just going to be that simple. It's just that simple, Eagles fans. Y'all could be mad if you want to be. You're not as good as the Niners. I'm not so sure you're as good as Dallas. Let's be honest. And on a neutral field, I might take Detroit over you, because these are teams that will throw the ball right at the teeth of your secondary, which is trash. Trash. Slay and Bradbury are trash. They're trash. You can't talk me off it. Debo said it in an interview, and so I started doing some digging and started looking, and I'm like, man, these guys really aren't that good. And you saw it last year. They fell apart in the second half of the Super Bowl. Your secondary lost you the Super Bowl. Stop. You're not that good. You're not. Now, this is a team you should annihilate. Tommy Cutlets in Philadelphia. This game should be 41-7. But 13.5 is way too much for a team that is banged up. Devonta Smith ain't practicing. Questions in the locker room about the leadership. You're losing games in the most egregious fashion. Nobody can cover anybody. Yeah, I mean, look. This is a division game. I could go on and on and on, man. I know it's a bad spot for Saquon Barkley. I know it's a bad spot, but Darren Waller's back. Tommy Cutlets can run. I see a backdoor cover. The Eagles will win this game, but they ain't covering this 13.5, man. Big Blue's going to find a way to stay in this game. And anyhow, Big Blue has a lead in the fourth quarter. The Eagles are going to cough it up again. Why? Because that's what they do. The Heimlich maneuver was created for the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. And you could be mad at me all you want. And people are like, why do you hate the Eagles so much? Why do you hate the Eagles so much? I don't hate the Eagles. I don't even think about the Eagles. We beat the Eagles when it mattered. I'm not concerned with the Eagles. This is world of matchups, and we break games down. And I'm here to tell you what you need so you can win money. I'm not trying to slam anyone. I don't hate anyone. But I know what I see when I watch football. I trust my eyes more than anything in this world next to Jesus Christ. I know what I see. And they give up big plays when the game is on the line. Giants plus 13.5 and eat a chicken cutlet parmesan.
Yeah, 13.5 does seem like way too much in my opinion. I mean, they know they stunk it up against the Saints last week, but division games are just so different, you know? The Eagles are playing so bad, and I've been on the Eagles for like the last 3 weeks. It sucks, man. I mean, they just lose and lose and lose. They played really good teams, so I don't know, man. That seems like a weird line to me. It's like they're like begging you to take the Eagles, like, oh, it's only 2 touchdowns, but I don't know, man. I just think that they could keep this closer than they'd want it to be. I mean, I don't think the Giants are going to win this game at all, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's just, and it is in Philadelphia. It's like they are literally begging you to take the Eagles here, and I feel like it's not necessarily a trap game, but maybe a trap game in terms of betting, you know. So I'm going to take the Giants, not with a significant amount of confidence, but
no confidence at all.
13.5 that's a huge number in a division
for game. A division game. Yeah, no confidence at all. I'm literally taking them because I told you I'm going to bet against the Eagles until they show me they could stop at somebody who's throwing the ball over the middle. That's why I'm taking them. The Eagles should steamroll this team. But if I'm betting, if I'm standing in front of the guy at the sports book with my money, give me those 13.5 points. And like I said, man, you know, let's go Tommy Cutlets. Next. Monday Night Football, game of the week. The Ravens, they head to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. 49ers -6. 49ers, to me, are the best team in football. I don't think it's really even questionable at this point. I do like how the Ravens handled their business on the road versus a fraudulent Jacksonville team Sunday night. I did bet against the Ravens, and I paid for it. This is a tough game to call because there's no Mark Andrews. Keaton Mitchell's now out with an ACL. They're relatively healthy in San Francisco, and they play tough in their building, and they're out to show everybody that, you know, the NFC has teams that are good as any team in the AFC. Because that's been in question. You know what I mean? That has been in question for some time now. And I personally think that they destroy the Ravens here. I do. I want to take the Ravens plus +6 so bad. I can't come up with enough reasons to do so. They're firing at all cylinders in San Francisco. Who's not getting it done? When Kittle sees the ball, he gets it done. CMC is house money. Debo has come alive when I thought he was going to be very mid this year. Brandon Ayuk was the number 1 wide receiver on any team in the NFL, except his own. Their defense is solid. Nick Bosa, the only thing I worry about is their secondary. But even Charvarius Ward, they've been playing well lately. And they're not a throwing team in Baltimore, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I mean, is Isaiah Likely really going to blow up the San Francisco 49ers? Is Odell Beckham, old man Odell? I mean, it'll be an entertaining game. But you're telling me I just got to lay the 6? A touchdown wins this game in their building, Monday Night Football, Christmas Day. Stop it. Bang Bang Niner Gang is getting my money all day, every day, twice on Sunday and on Monday here. I just can't trust the Ravens coming off a big win. I think CMC eats this team alive personally, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I just really don't trust the Ravens when push comes to shove. When you really need them, I don't know. They just don't move. I mean, they've lost to Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs. Like those things really do matter to me. And I know it won't happen just because the stats aren't there. But to me, Fred Warner is the defensive player of the year. I mean, every time you watch this guy in the field, he's just everywhere somehow. He's always by the football, passing downs, running. This guy is so unreal, dude. He's one of the best running backs I've ever seen, like, in my lifetime play. Mm-hmm. He's a Hall of Famer, man. I mean, it's not even debatable in my opinion. It's so crazy how good this guy is. And they're just playing so good, man. They're just playing their best football, like, exactly when you need them.
They're playing at a very high level. I
think that when you need the Ravens to play really good football against the best teams in the NFL, they just don't.
Lamar doesn't win big games, dude.
When they get down and he has to throw the ball, dude, he's going to have to learn, like, he's so good. You know what he reminds me of? Justin Jefferson with an arm. Like, he's just tall, lengthy, and, like, more athletic than, like, basically 99% of the NFL, right? That's how he carries them. But, dude, he's got to learn, like, quarterback mechanics. I see him do these, like, jump throws, and, it works sometimes against some of the worst teams. But, dude, you're down 7 against a good team, and you try to do some of these weird passes, these bad mechanics, you're going to get picked off, dude. Yep. I'm telling you, it is going to end their season. Lamar doing something stupid. I think back to that Steelers game early in the year. I mean, they had the chance all they needed was a field goal, and they go for a fade in the corner of the end zone, dude. He throws it so flat, and it's a pick to Joey Porter. I mean, that is just going to end their season. I can just tell you right now. I just feel it, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, Lamar Jackson takes you so far, but he just hits a wall sometimes, like in important games. I mean, it just happened his entire career. So, yeah, I love.
It's almost just like the script writes itself for Lamar. It writes itself. Great regular season, in the MVP running, down in his own building or on the road in the playoffs, does something stupid, season over. Baltimore writes the check. The script for Lamar writes itself. I don't hate Lamar. A lot of you guys think I hate these people and hate these teams. I don't, man.
Fun to watch.
He's great to watch. He is a gifted athlete. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I'm not even so sure I would have paid Lamar either. I mean, what has he done this year that's been so great? His numbers are good, but are they worth that kind of money? Only Mahomes is worth that kind of money in my mind, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But in a hostile spot like San Francisco, I think they're in trouble, man. I think they get their doors blown off, and they really haven't had their doors blown off in a while. I think it's coming. The odds maker have set this 6 just high enough for you to want to take Baltimore because they dismantled a fraudulent team last week. There's a lot of recency bias that goes into the way the odds makers make these spreads. But guys, don't be prisoners of the moment. I say it all the time, man. Styles make fights. What happened last week was last week. You know what I mean? That was last week. This week's a whole different animal. This team is hungry. This team is Clubber Lang. They are ready to mob, and I think they are going to the Super Bowl for sure. And I'm not so sure that any AFC team is going to be able to stop them this year. That's the slate. 3-team tease. Did we come up with one? We had a couple we liked.
No, I think we got it. We're going to take the Cowboys plus the 8 points. We're going to take
Lock City.
We stayed away from these games. It was the Seattle Seahawks against the Tennessee Titans.
Love that.
And what was our last game? I know we had it, and I remember we both kind of agreed on it. The Browns, right?
Let's take a look here.
Yeah.
We got Dallas.
It was Dallas, Seattle, and we had one more game that we needed to choose. It could be the Browns.
It's the Browns.
I want to say it's the Browns. I like the Browns.
Yeah, so it was -3, so now we're going to get 3. I love the Browns here. I think
I do too.
I think they just impose their will on the Texans without CJ Stroud. I really do. So that's the 3-team teaser. Last week we hit 2 out of 3. Week before 2 out of 3. Week before that we hit it all.
Yeah.
I think this is the week we hit it all. But we're gonna keep doing what we do for you guys. World of Matchups, Las Vegas, Nevada. Guys, happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy holidays to you and your families. Thanks for supporting the show. Tell people that are interested in handicapping football. Like, subscribe. We're just going to keep doing what we do. We're doing this for fun because we just love to do it. And it's just nice to hear other people thank us when we actually make some correct predictions. I've had a couple people just jump in my DMs and be like, dude, you made me some money, so thank you. So, it's funny because I don't even gamble that much. I just like handicapping football and talking.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good way to test your knowledge of football.
Yeah, because I seem to think that I know something.
It's a measuring stick, Yeah.
This is what I know, man. We're right more than we're wrong. You know what I mean? Obviously, guys, no one has a crystal ball, but boy, sometimes I listen to my takes when I'm writing. I'm like, damn, dude, how are you still a waiter on the Las Vegas Strip and not working in the NFL in some capacity? I tell you, you guys enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you next week for Week 17.
See you guys.